Coming up, a new report says Nova Scotia is failing to adequately protect female migrant workers in this province. A new report published by the Centre for Migrant Worker Rights Nova Scotia raises concerns about the human rights of female migrant workers in this province. It says Nova Scotia is failing to adequately protect female migrant workers on farms and in sea plants. Stacey Gomez is executive director of the Centre and one of the authors of the report. So first of all, how did you go about doing this research?
Thank you. So we conducted a comprehensive review of the literature, as well as speaking with dozens of women migrant workers, including in an online survey, in group conversations, as well as individual interviews.
Okay, and from that, you're drawing certain assertions. Let's break down some of the findings here. What did you find when it relates to housing?
We found that a lot of women migrant workers, approximately 60%, are reporting living in overcrowded, employer-owned housing with not sufficient amenities, including appliances, bathrooms, and stoves. For example, we heard from a number of women migrant workers. Some of them are in houses where there's up to 20 people, and they're sharing two bathrooms and one stove, or they're living in rooms where there's eight other beds. And for migrant workers in the seafood processing sector, some of them are living in trailers where there's up to 10 people.
So are you learning whether that's the norm or is that an outlier?
So, we heard from women migrant workers that their top concern is this overcrowding. And then we heard, in these different conversations, these are some examples. And so, we'd need to look further to see more about this, but definitely there's different living conditions for migrant workers. Some are living in houses, while others are living in trailers. So there's a difference there.
What about working conditions? What sort of things do people report back about working conditions?
So we heard that migrant workers are experiencing unsafe working conditions at times. So, for example, we heard that often in extreme weather, agricultural workers are working outside. And we heard that, for example, a woman shared, whether it was extreme heat or whether it was a storm outside or whether it was freezing, they were always outside working. And that was one of the top concerns raised by women migrant workers in the agriculture sector.
And so what's your sense of how much these workers know about their rights while working in this country?
We heard from a lot of them that they are often not aware of what their rights are while they're here, and that definitely knowledge is power in terms of knowing what your rights are. And that was definitely a need that was highlighted by many of them to have this essential rights information upon their arrival to Nova Scotia.
So both levels of government, provincially and federally, they have said they are working to improve the lives for migrant workers. But what does your group specifically want to see done?
We see that the vulnerability of migrant workers is tied to their closed work permit. So they're bound to one employer and they're not legally able to work with any other employer while they're here. That is a recipe for abuse. And so we're calling for open work permits on arrival for all migrant workers, as well as a national housing standard to ensure that migrant workers are living in dignified housing, as well as federal funding to ensure that support services and essential rights information is getting to migrant workers. So funding community organizations to provide essential supports.
You,
Those are at the federal level.
okay, and provincially?
Provincially, a lot of migrant workers are calling for an increase to the minimum wage. And, we would like to see that to actually match what are the costs of living here, a living wage, as well as access to public healthcare coverage on arrival, as well as strengthened inspections for to ensure that employers are living up to their responsibilities.
And do you have a sense that both levels of government are or hearing you on that?
We haven't received a response from the federal or provincial government yet with regards to these recommendations.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Stacey Gomez, Executive Director of the Centre, thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.